Good morning, Transformers. We want to thank God for today. And we continue with our theme. The Sunday school theme for this week is loving the Lord our God. It has been the theme, and it's so awesome. It is good. And we are simply saying our children will love God, right from preschool to primary to JSS to high school. They go to campus. They will love the Lord their God, and they are not departing, because that is a promise according to Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow up, they will never depart. And that is our children for you. Our children. If you're listening to me, Mama, Dad, you're listening to me, just confess this day. My child will never get lost. My child will not depart. My child will be in the house of the Lord all the days of his life, loving God, loving God, loving God in all ways, with all his heart, with all his mind, with all his soul and his strength. He's not departing. You know what? The promises of God are perfect, remember. That is what we said. They are a covenant. They are perfect. They are authentic. They are true. So there's no way that verse, Proverbs 22:6, let it be your memory verse in this season. That train up a child. And let me tell you, don't just say train up a child. You've got to train how to love God. And we agree that we are training them through the word of God. Don't go to a corner, Mama. Don't go to a corner, Dad, and just say, me, I'm reading the Bible and don't disturb me. I'm reading the Bible, don't call me. Call them together and study the Bible together. Don't just go to a corner. They just know that once you shut the door, nobody should disturb you. It is important to do that. We also, in Sunday school, we call it the God's corner, for sure. We need our time. But even as you go, first of all, teach them. Because that is what we read in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 to 5, that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. That it is there in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Just look at it in Mark chapter 12, verse 29 and 30. It is repeated. And let me tell you, as I told you I think on Monday and Tuesday, we said, according to the Jewish culture, the mind and the soul were merged together. But when it comes to Jesus, he added the fourth one. He said it is mind and soul. Remember, when it comes to the soul, it is your personality, and it adds up to your thinking, to whatever surrounds you, who you are, the total you, the whole of you. You ought to love God, then with all your strength. And remember, we talked about Paul. And now we are talking about, and also yesterday we talked about King Jehoshaphat. He loved God until there was victory around him. And the end of it all, they went back to the temple celebrating, because that is a discipline of celebration. It's part of loving God with all your heart, and it continues. So today I want us to look at another character. That is Daniel. Daniel had friends. And Daniel, it is a book on its own. The book of Daniel. And it is his story. A great book. And it was at a time, just to cut the story short because of time, they were captured from Israel, the people of Judah, and they were being taken into captivity, into Babylon. But at that particular time, just before the capture, there was a king. And these guys had been taught the law. These people knew the word. And all that King Nebuchadnezzar had asked for were these young men. They were soldiers. They were, looking good, handsome men, those who were captured. And he wanted those ones who were healthy at that particular time. But let me tell you, those who were captured among them were Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, having their leader who was called Daniel. And these guys, by the time they were going to captivity, and by the time they were going to Babylon, they had learned the law. They knew the word. They had been taught, especially by their king. King Jehoiakim had taught them the law. And let me tell you, by the time they were stepping into the gates of Babylon, they stepped into the gates of Babylon, saying, just as the way we are saying we want to teach our children. By the time they are getting to high school, the time they are getting to university, the time they are getting to wherever they're going to work. Because our children, it doesn't matter what we are saying, there are no jobs. Our children, let me tell you a secret. Our children will get jobs. And they will enter into those jobs. Why? They have loved the Lord. They are God. With all their hearts, with all their minds, with all their soul, and with their strength. So by the time Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were entering Babylon, they entered, walingia na kishindo, with a lot of victory, knowing who they are. So even when they met with the people, the leaders there, and they were told, these guys were told, select, give me 4 guys. These are the 4 who showed up. And when they were told that they'll be served, these are the rules, you'll be served food, you do this, you do this, they just went to the kitchen, guys, and told them, please, for us, we are not eating that food. That food for the king, us, we are not eating. Why? They knew their God. And how I pray in this season, our children will be like these guys, saying, this is who we are. Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they knew who they are. They knew we love our God, and we are not going to sin, just like another character. And because of lack of time, we may not, Joseph, who said, I cannot sin against my God. I love him too much to sin. I love him too much to do what he doesn't like. Just like the bracelet that goes around. What would Jesus do? Can our children? Now, go back to the story. By the time they were being served, they said, no, we don't eat this food. We don't. Yes, we don't. And the guy in the kitchen, I'm just imagining this chief caterer is wondering, now what will I be told? I cannot, if Atana is a cook, I can even be killed. So he went and said this, and they said, after all is said and done, we can only eat veggies. You know, ma spinach, ma skuma, hizo, ma cucumber, hizo ndizo tunakula. That is what we are eating. And after that, come, we shall go to the weighing machine. You shall see, even when you look at us. And let me tell you, it happened. They said, whatever we never ate in our land, we are not eating. And for sure, they never ate. Because of that, the 4 points. Loving the Lord God with their mind, their soul. Their mind, their soul, their strength, and all that. Their heart. They loved God. They said, we are not eating. That food, we are not eating. So by the time the leaders, these people who are in the kitchen, got to them and told them, let's see how you are doing. How are you? How are things? They looked at them, and the Bible records that they were 3 times better. And let me tell you, as the story unfolds of Daniel, the Bible records so well that everything that he did, he was not only the 3 times. There was so much wisdom in him. There was so much, everything that was around him was par excellence. Everything that Daniel did was the best. He proved them wrong. He proved them wrong. Why? There is what? They looked back and said, we know what we know. We know what we know. We are not going to do this. Let me tell you, if I would move fast forward, even by the time when they were being told you are doing this, you're not following the law, and Nebuchadnezzar said, let them be thrown to the fire. Let me tell you, they said, it doesn't matter. We have a God whom we love. Na haijalishi, even if he doesn't save us, even if he doesn't do as we expect. In other words, hatubanduki. We are not living. We are not doing things negative. We are not going to do things that we have not been taught from our land. As we are standing and we are going to love God, remember, there is the path. They were like saying, our God has the perfect love. Our God has the steadfast love. Our God affirms us. Our God speaks to us. Our God, when he tells us not to do something, we don't do it. Let me tell you. For them to prove these guys wrong, they entered into the fire. And let me tell you, if the Bible records, even those who threw them into the fire, what happened? They were burnt. At the sides, they were burnt. Why? God showed them that these people have a God whom they love. They have a God whom they trust. They have a God whom they can cry to, whom they can call upon, and he hears them. It doesn't matter what they were going to go through. They have a God whom they love and who cares for them. So even in the fire, the Bible records, the fourth man appeared. The three were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And let me tell you, the fourth man, the one who was with them, the man they had believed in, the man who they had said, as we don't eat this food, and because we do not eat this food, it is because we have loved him. It is because we know him. We know who he is to us. And let me tell you, parents, and those of you who are listening to me, I want us to get to a point where our children can look back and say, we know whom we have believed in. There's so much of gayism in school. There's so much of, bad things. Sodomy is a lot in schools. And so many bad things that are happening in schools. But can our children be the elect? Be the chosen ones? May they be those children that when they look at us, they say, when they look at our children in schools, they will say, usiguze yule. Don't touch that one. Don't touch that one. When they want anything, they will say, that one is ours. When they look back, they will say, that one is ours. Let the Lord be seen in the lives of our children. And that is our prayer. So when they were in the fire, the fourth man appeared. And let me tell you, unless for the ropes that had tied them, or whatever had tied them, everything else could have been burnt. But our three friends, they were joined by Jesus himself. Or the presence of God was there. And even Nebuchadnezzar looked at it and said, what? Didn't we throw 3 men out there? But how come now there are 4? May that be our story. That even in trouble, we have a story to tell. That they'll be looking and say, these people are different. Why? They chose to love God. When others are doing things out there in campus, when other boys and girls are doing things there in high school, even in primary, and I put a disclaimer here, please don't be cheated that our children are in primary and they don't know much. Friends, even the PP1, let me start with the play group. Even for those in play group, that age group, they know. They have seen it on TVs. The TV has parented so many children. Because let me tell you, parents, we have left our children with house girls. And some of them have done a good work. They are believers. They love God. But let me tell you, there are those who are teaching our children things which are not good. So they are growing, not loving God. So even when you teach them, sometimes they are saying, Mami endelea tu kuongea. Just continue talking. Dad, continue talking. But as we know what auntie taught us in the house, they are not the aunties actually, they are house helps. Call them by name. Sometimes I say, yeah, it's respect. Call them auntie. But there are some who don't deserve to be called auntie. And I put a disclaimer. They are teaching our children bad things. That's what I'm saying. Young as they are, some of them have been taught. And how I pray, they will grow to love the Lord our God. Because as parents, we are doing our part. So God bless you. God bless you. Tomorrow, we are going to look more and just doing a review, doing a recap of the things that we have done, the things we have seen these 4 days. So God bless you, and goodbye. See you tomorrow. Bye.